Welcome back to Chokitibu Media. I hope you've seen the X-rated tapes moving around on the social media, most especially on X and at the same time on WhatsApps. If you haven't seen the video, but you might have heard about it, whereby people might have been discussing this, the morality behind it. But right here, I want to bring to you the political angle to this and family rivalry in this scandal that has just broken in Equatorial Guinea. So, we're talking about the family of the president and how this tape will be of help to solve a kind of political rivalry within the family. If you don't know, the son of this president of Equatorial Guinea happens to be the vice president of that country. And Equatorial Guinea, like you know, has been under one family for a very long time. I believe the man came to power since the year 1982. He's been the president. And he found that it more appropriate to use his son as the current vice president of the country. Who are we actually talking about? We are talking about President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbazongo. The president, Mr. Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbazongo, has a family member who happens to be well-read, and the man is Mr. Baltasar Engonga Bello. So, Mr. Baltasar Engonga Bello is the father of the man in the scandal, the man in the eye of the affairs, whose name is Baltasar Engonga. Ebang Engonga happens to be the tax administrator, and his appointment was aided by his father's influence and his family proximity with the president. This is not to say that Bello himself, as he used to be called, doesn't have the qualification. The position he held in the country is like a finance minister or anti-corruption agency czar, the likes of EFCC in Nigeria, that seeks to stop the corrupt practices that may arise, or the ICPC that may arise in the country. He has power over the incomes that comes into the country. So that is why the position he held is so important. Baltasar Engonga happens to be a guy from a mixed race, and you will actually see it on his figures. So, the family of Baltasar Engonga Bello, the man that happens to be an elite in the country himself, a well-read, happens to be the head of the Central African Economic and Monetary Committee, CEMAC Commission. He happens to be the president of this organization. So, the family of Mr. Baltasar is seen as an alternative to power to take over from the current president. A political alternative that could take up the position of the presidency in Equatorial Guinea. So, this happens to be a threat to the family currently in power. I'm talking about the family of Mr. Mbazongo. They have the capacity to rule the country if eventually the man that has his grip on power since 1982 could leave the position at any time. But this will not happen without a fight, because the son of the president is now there as the vice president, who actually want to be the president after his father. So it will not be easier for the family of Mr. Bello to become the president of the country. the son of the president, Mr. Theodorin, who happens to be the vice president now, wouldn't go down without a fight. And that is why we are having this conversation. So there's this political rivalry between these two families, and this led to what we are really having today, because somebody is actually trying to use the advantage of this sex tapes scandal on the other family, meaning that even the president is actually not saying anything about this case already, but the son that ordered the investigation is seizing the opportunity now to bring down the family of Mr. Baltasar himself. So the African report came up with the write-up to shed more light into what really happened and why we're having this sex tape all around. Who revealed the sex tape in the first place? How did the sex tape leaked? Was it a mistake or was it intentional? So this is what I want us to know. So the father of the man in the tape, Mr. Engonga Bello, was invited to the palace to discuss, and it was held down there when the tape was released. So let me give you the review by the African report, how this was put together, how this plan was architected by the vice president of the country, Mr. Theodoro. Mr. Baltasar Engonga Bello was with the vice president in the palace while the tapes of his son was released on the internet. We know this story. Like I said, we might have seen the tapes or we might have read the news. But right here is what really happened, the assessment of the case. Many questions have yet to be answered about the sex tape scandal involving Equatorial Guinea's tax administration head, Baltasar Ebang Engonga, who was already being held in the country's Black Beach prison over corruption allegation. The case actually started with a corruption allegation leveled against Mr. Engonga. Hundreds of intimate amateur videos showing Mr. Engonga with many women in their countries, including the wives or other family members of Malabo dignitaries, generals, and government ministers, which flooded the social media a couple of days ago. But the circumstances in which they were filmed remained unclear. But we can see, if you have seen the video, according to the information I gathered, that the women were also involved. Now, jazz, did they use jazz on them, or did they also use jazz on themselves, or was still what they were enjoying that made them to participate so much by recording themselves? And I learned that the videos moving around the social media was about 400 seized from Mr. Engonga. So I don't know why they kept recording themselves. If I don't know why the woman agreed to be filmed, or I don't know why both of them now agreed to film themselves with these private affairs. In actual sense, I'm not about what they did in the tape or the affairs, but what I want to point out to us is the political aspect of it, and that is what is so important to me. While many may have appeared in the video were prominent figures within the ruling family and the elite, it was the tax chief's father, Baltasar Engonga Bello, the head of the Central African Economic and Monetary Community (CEMAC) Commission, who was summoned to Malabo before the affair broke publicly. So the vice president now, like I said, is behind all the scandal. So the scandal began with the seizure of computers and telephones of the man known for his good looks, popularly called Bello, during an investigation into accusation of embezzlement of public funds. Vice President Theodoro Nguema Obiang Mangwe, aka Theodorin, quickly took the matter into his own hands. He launched an investigation and publicized the scandal on social media in order to manage the political fallout and no doubt to use it towards his own advantage. So like I said to you, it was Mr. Theodorin, the vice president of the country, the son of the president, that released the tape. So it was an intentional to damage the other party that happens to be their family, the extended family. So it was the one that released the tape of his nephew onto the social media just to gain, political power over, or political advantage over this other family, the family of Mr. Eljo. The Senate Commission president, the nephew of the president, Teodoro Obiang Nguema Basongo, and Theodorin's political rival, was summoned on 1st of November, and a stay was prolonged as the video of his sons made round on social media. No details have emerged of meetings Eljo may have had with Theodorin or president himself. Within the Equatorial Guinea's president's family, Eljo and his children, including Engonga, were seen as political alternative to Teodoro Obiang Nguema Basongo's son, Theodorin, to succeed the president who had a grip on power since 1982. An intellectual of a mixed race, brought up in the West, Bello had a profile, says Malabo Insider. His father has experience and was placed at CEMAC. So, Theodorin could be seizing the opportunity to eliminate this threat. Eljo was also behind the appointment of his son as the head of tax administration. It is in this capacity that Bello was accused of diverting funds to private accounts in Cayman Island. Now that the sex tape scandal has exploded, Theodorin may have found powerful allies to push his rival out. The supervisor of presidential security, Jesus Edu Motomangwe, and the Minister of Public Security, Nicholas Obama Unchama, whose relatives appear in the videos as well. So this is the situation, and we have not had the end of it anyway, because the man in the eye of the storm is still in prison now. But for what? Was it in prison, or was he kept in prison because of the sex tapes of these dignitaries, or was it because of the mismanagement of funds, corruption that actually started this? And the question is this man actually corrupt, or the vice president, who happens to be the son of the president, is using this advantage, to take out his rival, labeling accusation of corruption and embezzlement on the man? So this stands to be clear and stands to be seen as time goes on. So the morality aspect of it, maybe you can deal with that, because these people are adults and they must have had a mutual understanding to do what they did in the tape. So it's quite unfortunate that this is, how Equatorial Guinea will be popular all around the world, all for the bad reasons. But when you look at the economic and human capital development of Equatorial Guinea, you will never actually not see anything, that you can really count on. Like I used to say, you only have these guys in the seat of power, staying there for a very, very long time, and the life of their people are not impacted at all. And even when you go to the country, you wouldn't even call it a country, because it will look exactly like a village. I haven't been to Equatorial Guinea, but my concern is this: let there be the right people being put in power, and let those guys also, when they taste power, never to stay in power for so long, never to allow any other person to take, or any other citizen of the country to take care. I'm talking about qualified person to take care. It shouldn't be a case of whereby it should be a kind of family stuff, whereby the power will be passed from father to son, because this is exactly what is going to happen in Equatorial Guinea, and that is what is playing out now. The son of the president wants to be the president, just like you have in Togo. Exactly what you have in Togo now with the Yademas. So the political aspect of this is what I want to actually think about. And when you talk about the moral aspect of it, let everybody also take care of themselves. It's quite unfortunate that adults could be doing what they do behind the closed door and they put it on tape. So why putting it on tape? Why not go onto the market to do that stuff and let everybody see you? What they were doing in the tape, the moral aspect of it, is something that nobody actually wants to see. It's something that they thought they wouldn't even want the third party to see. If they don't want the third party to see what they were doing, why did they put it on tape? I want you to listen to what I'm communicating to you and to everybody that is watching this tape as well. I mean, morally, do you think it's okay for you to keep watching what, the other man are doing behind the closed door? Religiously, for me, I believe it's totally wrong. But the man that leaked the video as well, who happens to be the vice president, do you think he has done the best thing? Do you think he's going to be okay with all these things? And what type of person is he himself? Releasing the tape into the public sphere is actually wrong. It's totally wrong. And what they did in the tapes as well is totally condemnable. Wife of dignitaries participating in these. And Bello himself being an elite. What do you want to gain? I believe the guy had a very nice, beautiful wife and, beautiful kids as well. But getting involved in this scandal, it's totally unacceptable for him to do. This is Orchestrating Media. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Put on your notification button. God bless you as you do. See you next time. Bye for now.